What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham, former runner-up of American Idol, and you're watching the Idol Breakdown. We have even more contestants to go through, so let's go through them. Another reminder, if you are a contestant and you're watching this, you are responsible for what you watch. I am responsible for giving an honest opinion, and reminder, spoiler alert, this is just one person's opinion. I'm wrong all the time. That being said, let's start with Victor Solomon. I am here for Victor's physical performance. There were many convulsions on stage. He was going for it. He was wearing like black leather gloves. There's something about just going all out, and not as a wild person, but with purpose, that Victor does great here. And I'm here for it. This is what makes incredible performances come to life. And that's what he does. Vocally, I can't get past his deeply gospel-laden vibrato and tone and vocal choices. I can't see a world where he doesn't mean there isn't one, where he does pop music or even R&B soul with such a distinct gospel-sounding voice. So it doesn't really do much for me vocally for Victor, but I really love the performance that he's going all out. Maddie. Guys, I hope you realize how good Maddie is. It's so nonchalant and she's so relaxed and it's so effortless for her. I'm afraid that maybe some of us don't realize how incredible she is. I wish the judges would say something other than how old she is. During her performance, the judges looked at each other and said 6 things. 6 times it showed the judges and what they were saying to each other while she was singing. And I wrote down every one of those comments. They were verbatim, direct quote, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. Okay, I think we're aware that she's 15 years old. I think there's more to it. Yes, it's impressive that she's really young and really great. Hooray. But if she was 25, it would be just as impressive. There's nothing, I just think they're overstating her age over and over and over again. And it's we're missing all the goods. And I don't want us to miss the goods just because of how young she is and how incredible that is. Her control is insane. I will say, when we were talking last episode about how she drags the notes, Luke said that, like a guitar player, like singing like that. She does on Man's World. That's one of those notes that are often dragged, like, this is a man's world, man's. So the note is man's, but if you flatten it just a little bit, this is a man's world, it can give that bend a bit. I think, though, that she was just a little too under that note, and it just came across as flat every other time she would do it. You don't necessarily want to do man's world, because now it doesn't feel soulful. But you don't want to do, this is a man's world. She definitely sang it better than that. But you know what I'm trying to say. That was just a little under for me. Colby. They show this rehearsal clip like it's just the end of the world, like this huge nightmarish moment in rehearsal. And it was the most common rehearsal situation ever. She's just going through and he goes, oh, got it. You're going here, like the record. Hey guys, that's fine. She's just not going to do those 2 bars. We'll cut that out. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. You can go there. We'll go there. And that's it. But the music, it's like, oh no, the record. You're doing it like the record. It's like, it's fine. They're following her. Chris and the band, they are world class. And there's not a problem at all. It's such a normal thing and they make it sound really epic. And like it's a disaster. But I will say, Colby kind of makes it feel like a disaster in her the way she responds, her emotional response is a little doom and gloom. And I get it, the stakes are high and you have a lot to prove, blah, blah, blah. But it's okay. You're going to have rehearsals are meant for mistakes. That's why you have rehearsals, is to mess up. And then I felt like I could see on the entire performance, I could see on her face how upset she was by the situation. And that is something you can't have, not just from a performance standpoint, but from a psychological standpoint. You can't have this like, oh, this sucks, this is going wrong. Even if you can put a good face on and you can't see it, still internally, that is not a mentality that you can have and have a long career, because there are gonna be times where things go way worse than you having a different arrangement than you thought you were gonna have in the band. I mean, there will be disasters. There will be doomsday scenarios of a sound check or a rehearsal or a performance. And not only can you not show that on your face that you're upset, you can't believe it. Like, you just got to go for it. I felt like maybe because of that, she was trying to just go pedal to the metal the whole time. And it just felt like, let me flex as much as I can. And it wasn't connected to what the song was, or I just didn't feel connected to the story of the song or anything. It was just a big conglomeration of, let me show off my unbelievable talent, which she has, but I thought it was too much. If you dig these videos, if you feel like they've brought any value to your watching experience, I would love for you to like this. It's just a thumbs up click. You can do it right now while I'm talking. If you like it, click it. If you don't like it, then maybe just keep watching and I'll try to prove myself to you so you can like me. Samoan Silk, Isaiah.
What hurts the most was being so close.
I think he's getting better and better every time we hear him sing. And he really does stay true to his name. His vocal tone is so silky. I do think if I had to nitpick, because overall I loved this performance, maybe one of my favorites. If I do had to nitpick, I think he was performing a little bit too much rather than trying to convince us or believing that he's actually going through the thing that he's singing about, which is my preference. I think that's always the way to go, to actually think back through times when maybe you've been broken up with or left or rejected. What hurts the most is being so close and having so much to say and watching you walk away. Can you believe that yourself, that that's happening while you sing it? If so, you go to a whole new level. I would be interested for him to lean into that psychologically. What I love about Isaiah is that he never drops the thread, very rarely drops the thread. He does a great job of holding this thread all the way through, this through line, where every note that comes out of his mouth, you can hear and receive it fully. There's no just quick, rapid succession of notes, like a really fast, rapid fire run that kind of takes you out, which he's done in the past. But there's no miss or flub that kind of, oh, I was enraptured and now I've been taken out. He really holds that thread for most of the song. And that makes him stand out and makes you lean all the way in and just trust the performer. This is a great performance by him. Brianna.
Make your heart believe a lie. It's stronger than your pride.
Perfect song. So we've talked about, it feels like the choruses are awesome and powerful and then the verses are kind of lackluster. Well, she just picks a song where the verse and the chorus are big. Starts from the top, stays on the top, and really plays to her style of singing really, really well. She has an explosive voice, like powerful TNT, explosive voice. I do think the falsetto moments, I wasn't a fan of, very personal preference type of a thing. Just little shots of falsetto randomly throughout, which can be cool, but I didn't think she quite nailed it right in the center of that note. A couple contestants did some falsetto things that I was like, nah, I don't know if that adds. I don't know if that helps or not. Drew.
Tell me
Acapella start. Love that. So I want to make sure, unless she's an alien and I'm wrong about this, when you start acapella, you always get your starting key, your starting note. It almost sounded like she was like, well, I hope I start in the right key. It's like, I'm pretty sure. It's not like we're just going from nothing and then hope you just sing the right key. That's terrifying. And maybe she has perfect pitch and she can just do that. But most likely she had a starting note. She heard it and goes, okay, there's my starting pitch. And then she would start to sing. And then when the band comes in later, you hope to God that you have stayed right in that key. Because sometimes when you're singing by yourself, you have the tendency of just slightly lowering the key just a little bit. And so then when the band comes in, there's this big discrepancy there. So the mission at hand is, let me start. I'm going to start in the right place, but let me hold it with nothing else as a reference to keep me there. Let me hold it the whole time. And she did that. Band came in. She was right there. The judges were impressed. I was impressed. It's very difficult. I mean, she's got great pitch. She felt it. I really felt the verses for her. I didn't actually, so this is almost like the opposite of her audition or how I felt about her audition. The verses were great. And then when she was belting, I thought it was a bit shallow and unsupported. And I didn't think it was as strong as I remember her belt being. I still think it's clear that she makes a top 24 just because we see her so much, which is great for her. And I know she's great. But the past couple performances, I find myself thinking, oh, I guess she does really great later. Because she's not quite knocking me out as of right now. But I know she has the capability to. Jamal.
All the other love, all the time. Yeah,
Dude, I listened to Jamal, his last performance of that, I think it's Anthony Evans song, 10 times, and it's not enough. I will randomly throughout the day be like, I think it's been too long since I've listened to Jamal sing that song. And I just go, I think American Idol has a reel of it, and I need to just send it to myself so I can just reference it easier. But this dude has so much poise when he starts to sing. He's singing like he's just talking to his best friend, very calmly. Eyes are open. He's looking around. He's just trying to talk. And you know when someone's talking to you and they're talking at you, or they're not like making eye contact, they're just saying words. And then you have someone who is looking deep into your eyes, not necessarily like romantically, but just making contact. And really, you can tell that their goal is to communicate this idea to you, and they see you. He sings like that. And he can't see me. He doesn't even know who I am, but I feel like he's just looking right into my soul. And like, hey, I have something to tell you, and I want to explain this to you. And just the way that someone would talk to earnestly communicate something, he's just doing it with his singing voice. And he's believing everything he's singing. And so I am too. He's so settled. He reminds me of Bean a couple seasons ago, who would just be completely still. And his presence would just exude all over the place just from being still. And he has that. I kind of feel like he's a crooner here in the way that he crafts and cares for each note, and then has the R&B soul stuff. I will say his slow runs, like methodical runs, a slow run would be like, I've looked for love versus I've looked for love. Slow versus fast. His slow, those crush me. The fast is like the gospel thing and like, look what I can do a bit. And sometimes it's full of passion and it's timed right and it's perfectly in place and it destroys me. But most of the time, those fast runs don't compare to the slow, methodical runs, melodic, note for note. And that's when my heart is just ripping in half. So I would love for him to lean into those and really be careful with the fast. This goes for every singer that can do fast runs. Be careful with those and only let them come out when it's gotta come out and you feel it so deeply. Otherwise, go for the slow. I've looked for love 10 times out of 10. Go for those way more than the I've looked for love. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. But I'm not feeling a thing. You know what I mean? There are a lot of singers that can do both of those, and I would advise to lean toward the methodic, melodical, slow runs. Okay, let's move on. Enough about that. Cameron.
You smile at me and say, there ain't no better place.
Buddy, this broke my heart. It's just one of those situations where it's clear that there's not a lot of experience, and this is where it shows when you mess up. A key factor in performing live is messing up really well. How good are you at covering mistakes? Because, spoiler alert, everyone messes up. Probably a lot more than you think. A lot more than you think. Pros mess up. And how good are you at covering it up? And he like cusses in the mic. He, not like out of anger, but just like, oh, and just hums. And if he would have, instead of cussing and instead of humming, I feel like if he just would have said, oh, no, 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 and then pick up where you're supposed to pick up or where you know the lyrics, we wouldn't have noticed. I wouldn't have noticed. Promise that. I promise you that I would not have noticed. But when someone hums, in my opinion, it screams, oops, they forgot the words. But if someone just starts singing an oh, ah, or like Jamal, ma, 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 just something like that, everyone's into it. So this is just a classic example of not knowing how to mess up and cover it, because I thought he sounded great. And then it goes into this montage of people just falling apart. And when you have a stage with an audience and with a full band, it brings a whole new element, and people really start to separate, and it starts to be really clear who can do this and who is not ready. Now, who can't? Just who's not ready right now. And then Amanda Baris comes up. And I'm thinking, she's gonna show how it's done. Like, she is the best driver engine combo of the show. This is gonna be, and I've watched and reacted to videos of her killing with a full band, very similar to what the Idol band is. And she picks a great song, and I'm like, okay, this is just a layup. Like, this is gonna be great. And she even says in an interview, she's like, Arena was very good to me. She felt great about how she did. And then she's like, I'm in my comfort zone here. And I'm like, yes, you are. And then to me, the performance actually felt like her worst so far. It felt like she was never settled into the pocket. The pocket is like, when you're singing, if you can be vibing and everything that comes out of your mouth, when it comes out of your mouth, feels like a compliment to the groove of the song, you're in the pocket. She felt outside of it. It's like, if these are this is going to be weird, these are the grooves of the song, you want to interlock yourself into it. She felt like she was just a part, and like, instead of interlock, like she was just this way a little bit and not quite in it the whole time. Almost felt like she was out of breath. And I didn't enjoy it. She did some vocal stunts, which is just like, holy cow, you're awesome. And she sounds great. So overall, people were like, wow, she's awesome, because she is. But as far as the performance compared to what I know she can do, I thought this was a miss. Tell me if I'm crazy. Desmond. Man, I love Desmond. I'm so glad to see him again. I'm worried that they haven't showed him until now. That is typical of, like, they didn't make it to the top 24. But dude, he's got so much range and talent and ability. I loved the beatbox guitar lick thing. Wow. I was like, this is cool. I'm into this. It's really unique. And then the band came in and he killed it. Carrie was like, here it comes. I'm scared about this note. I was too. But then he just hits it. And then, like she said, goes way higher after that. He kind of has this limitless range is what it feels like. John.
Looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to say.
I felt like John was great. He's always great. I felt like he was a little lost when he took the mic off the stand and was trying to walk and move with the guitar just strapped to him. A lot of times you want to swing that guitar to the side, like Slater does this. You swing that guitar to the side and really take the stage like that. But when it's still in front of you, you're kind of up here, like just with your hands, not really sure what to do, and you can't like rest. And that felt a little unnatural to me. I think he's amazing, and I think he's got a niche music genre that he's going to go for, and he's going to have a great career. I don't think it's American Idol that's going to be the path for him, though, just strictly because of his style, which is totally fine. And the fact that he got the exposure on American Idol doing this very niche thing, this classic country stuff is awesome. And who knows, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe the pendulum's swinging back and people are wanting that vibe again, and he could be a big star. That would be preferable. Zaylee.
You ruined everything good. Always said you were misunderstood.
Let's freaking go, Zaylee. This is what I knew she could do. And she did. Okay. She did this in her audition. And the judges are acting like, whoa, where did this come from? Wow, this is... And it's like, okay, yeah, she did great, and you should respond how you're responding because she did great. But this was her in the audition as well. She did this one note where you feel like it's her ceiling. It's like, can you get there? Oh, you got there. And you feel like that's as high as she can go, like that's her limit. And then she went a third above. It's like 4 notes, 5 notes higher than that, which is crazy. And that is a technique that my dad taught me. He said, hey, you need to make the high notes look a little harder than they are. Because if you have good technique, and if you're not at the top of the range, then a high note can be very easy. But it's better if you make it look like it's really hard and make people think, ooh, that's the limit. And then bust through that ceiling and be like, haha, surprise, it's not my limit, I can go higher. And it makes people's minds blow up. And that's kind of what happened here with Zaylee. I thought she was awesome. I did think her top notes were a little thin. Just need, in my opinion, way more air support. I've talked about the paper plane thing, but you can think of it too as like if the pitch is a paper plane and the depth of how well it flows and flies across the air is dependent on how much air is beneath it. The more air you put beneath it, the stronger it flies, the higher it can go. That air beneath is in your gut. I say this all the time in vocal foundation, but the gas pedal is in the gut. This would clear up and I think beef up her voice and those top notes. But overall, I'm so happy with this. Philo.
Maybe tomorrow my heart will be waiting.
I love Philo. I think he's got one of the best voices of the show. To me, it still feels like he is pushing a little bit and trying to show off, not in an arrogant way, but just like show off. Like, I want to make sure you see what I can do instead of let me really feel this and enjoy the masterpiece that is music, that is this song. His pitch was off here and there, but he's still, I'm telling you, he's still got maybe the most to offer vocally of anybody because of his tone. He can do all the things. He can do the runs. His range is crazy. He's likable. He's kind. He's a great performer. But his tone is like everything is 10 out of 10, and then his tone is like a 12 out of 10. I just want him to believe that and know that and sink into that and let that be one of his strengths that he showcases. Slater.
Was it something that somebody said? Honey, you know we broke the rule.
Oh my gosh, Slater. dude keeps getting better and better and showing more and more. All I'm saying is that he is the only one that really fits the mold of likable, young, Southern white guy with a guitar. And he kind of has the monopoly on that market, the corner of that market. And that is the mold that in the past has typically won. So, I mean, you've got other dudes that are really soulful and have the like very charming, likable white guy with the guitar thing. But I feel like he's really standing out. And not just the heart connection of writing the song about Carter from his teacher's lyrics, singing the song that he wrote when he was like 14 about foolish pride, which is unbelievable. But now he's singing like soulful stuff, dude. And the hip movement and the fact that he's dancing and like pointing and laughing at Luke and having that much fun on stage while he sounds awesome and is bringing more soul to his voice and I knew he had. Buddy, I mean, look out. He looks like he's ramping up for maybe the front runner as far as America's votes go. We'll see, because we always have to see every season, like, what does America value the most? And it could be Slater. Mikey. Love Mikey. Has an unbelievable voice. His guitar solo is awesome. I thought that was really cool and impressive. And the fact that he was like plucking like this, like, whoa, I guess maybe that's like a classical guitar, Spanish guitar thing. No pick. But I thought that singing in Spanish was really cool, that it represents his culture, that it means something to him. I thought it was a mistake just because of who his audience is. Sure, there are many viewers of American Idol that have Spanish-speaking heritage, but the majority are English speakers. And I think singing in Spanish could have, as a risk, it could have been this, whoa, look at this. It separates him and makes him really special. But there wasn't, it's like he sang a Spanish song really, really, really well. There weren't any moments in the song that really showcased how incredible his falsetto is or how great his tone is. It showed his heritage and everything. And again, it meant something to him. But your audience is a bunch of Americans. And Americans can be very fast and culture, but they're English speaking people. And I think you would have connected better with a Bruno Mars song or a Robin Thicke song or any song that he would make really soulful. So for that reason, just for appealing to your audience, knowing your audience and appealing to them as much as you can, I think he could have done better and sung a song in English for that reason alone. Gabby. Oh my gosh. We've known Gabby's a monster from the beginning. This is the first time for me that she popped off on the show as a holy cow. She's one of the best singers of the season. It's like we've known that in our head, but we haven't felt it in our heart. And when we heard her sing like this, now we feel it in our heart. Her gentle, restrained, subtle runs crush me. It's like slow and elegant and delicate. And then she just lets you have a little bit of run and then takes it back. Gives you a little bit of soul and then brings it back. Like that is so stirring emotionally. And then when she would go all the way in my opinion, she went from 0 to 60 way too fast. She went from that subtle, like bring us in, like take us, build us up slowly, give us it and then come back and then bring us more and then slowly come up and give it to us. For me, it was like soft with these subtle, really powerful runs and then come back and then boom, 100 miles an hour, pedal to the metal. And I thought it was incredibly impressive. The vocal stuff she was doing was insane. But dynamically, I think it would have been better if she let it rise organically and you always want the audience to want what you're about to do before you do it. And it's almost like leading a horse with like a carrot. Like you want to lead them to You want this, then give it to them. Don't give it to them before they're yearning for it. Give them a chance to really want it, then do it. I think that could have helped dynamically. Thunderstorm.
Imagine all the people living for today.
Guitar sounds amazing. I was like, is that him? Is that his guitar? And that is him playing? Guitar sounds incredible. Tuning's perfect. His playing is perfect. This is gonna sound crazy, and you guys might have an absolute revolt about this. I don't really love the song Imagine in general. It's just, I don't know, the melody, there's some cool parts, but it's a little weird. And I know the overall song is about like peace on earth, but it's like, imagine there's no heaven, it's easy if you try. Like, and the on the piano, which he plays a different guitar lick, which is cool. But I just, in general, the whole song, I'm actually not a big fan of. But Thunderstorm, what he does so well is the way that he sings and approaches music, it forces us to lean all the way in. And we are wrapped up in every word and note that comes out of his mouth and comes out of his fingers, out of his guitar. And he has done that exceptionally well every single time he sings, even when he sings a song that I don't really like that much. Also, he's got these sneaky, like explosive power runs in his voice. When he belts and gets that rasp and like really comes alive and hits that run, they are clean and powerful. I almost want to take back the note I made last week about his tone being like sharp and harsh, because in this performance I was like, I wouldn't change a thing. Still be curious if he beefed it up a bit with more air support and got a little thicker of a tone in that rasp and those big notes, but he didn't need to change a thing. Ultimately, he's killing it. Olivier. Really cool rocker voice. Carrie's like, where did this come from? I'm thinking that too. It's like, oh, I didn't know we had like a rocker like this. And his tone is really cool. A tad bit mumbly, which is kind of the vibe, but I thought it was just a little too much. But we have this rocker sound that I don't think we were aware that we had. And then we have our last contestant, Kanan.
Never would have made it.
Yes.
Never could have made it without.
Kanan is such a mystery to me. We all know his vocal ability is bananas. And like Jamal, he's also communicating incredibly well with his eyes when he sings. And I will say, I promise you, none of us got a taste of how powerful that performance was compared to what it was in the room. Those types of big giant performances like that, when someone's flawlessly just slaying those big giant gospel songs, in the room, you cannot capture that on camera. You can't, especially through TV. I don't care how you produce it, you can't. So when Lionel was like, that's the best performance I've ever seen. That might be, and then I think Luke said like he might be the best singer I've ever heard in my life. That's what it does to you when you're live in the room and hearing that. We're just getting a fraction of that feel from the TV. I think it's hard to critique because I feel like the physical live performance was perfect and flawless. It very well could have been. But for me, it felt like the gas pedal was hit too soon. He went too fast into it. But this performance, if I was in the room, I'd probably be still like talking about it and losing my mind from like 3 or 4 months ago, whenever it was actually filmed. Then we have some cuts. So we have some people that made it. It's interesting how they're doing this. So Kanan, Gabby, Zaylee, and Maddie all go up to the front. They're like, unfortunately, and I'm like, stop. We all know they're going through. There's no way. Even when he said, this is the end for you, I was like, okay. No, it's not. Like, we all know you're not cutting them. You're not fooling anyone. You're not fooling anyone. And he said, And what I mean by the end for you is it's the end of us deciding who goes through because America is voting next. It's like, wow, that was a stretch. So they go through Kanan, Gabby, Zaylee, Maddie. And then the rest, I think there are 42 left. They're like, for the rest, for the next top 20 spots, we're doing a head-to-head, which I guess is duets. They said the word duet. They said head-to-head. I couldn't tell if it was like a play on what The Voice does, which is like a showdown, like 1v1, or if it was like we're in this together, you know, duets type of a thing. I think it's more of a duet. The head-to-head was just like an exciting little phrase to use that probably did good with focus groups. So again, the next episode will come out on Friday, 7 o'clock. All the courses that I do, the vocal courses, vocal foundations, those are things that I've just found students just need to know and singers need to know. And as soon as they know them, they get the change immediately. Singing is very nuanced. You have to work really hard at not really clear things, kind of vague practice to get better. This is a course where all the things here are not complicated. They are not nuanced. I promise if you just do this, or if you're aware of this, you'll get better immediately, or you can get your money back. So all those courses from music theory to vocal foundations are in the link in the description. Remember this, we have a live stream right after this. So if you're watching this as a premiere, which you should, because it's fun, I'm in the chat. We can all talk while we watch this together live as soon as it comes out. Sometimes American Idol contestants even show up in the chat, so that's fun. After the premiere, we have a live stream, live Q&A. If you're a member, then you can ask any question you want and I'll answer it. If you're not a member but still have a question you want to ask, that's fine. You just have to send it in as a super chat and then I will answer your question immediately. And more importantly, I forgot to say this last episode, which feels horrible, but it is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst fails while daring greatly. I'll see you guys in 2 days.